Hey everybody, so this is our astrology weather forecast for the 21st of October 2024. Moon does move into Cancer this evening at 6:50 Eastern Time. So for the majority of the day, we have the moon continuing through chatty multitasking Gemini, where we try to fit more into one day than we usually do. It's also a very mentally stimulating couple of days when the moon is transiting through Gemini, and we can be more caught up in thinking and collecting facts rather than in contemplation. It's more thinking and doing, busyness. That does change. We have more of a introverted approach to things as the night comes on here and the moon moves into Cancer. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Galactic Woman. I'm liking that name. So Mercury is the star of the day here when it comes to exact aspects. Mercury is sesquiquadrate to Neptune and coming into a trine to Saturn. So we have some amount of mental fog or mooniness. Trying to incorporate what is spiritual with what is practical. These can be difficult transits between Mercury and Neptune because they're so different in their functions. Hey, Charlotte. They're so different in what they do. Mercury is the parsing out of daily factual information, the little things. Neptune is the big things. It's spirituality. It's what is all encompassing. It's a big mess of everything as one. So it's harder for us to see what is present, what is right before us, what is a clear fact in the present moment. If we're really present with ourselves, if we don't wrestle with Neptunian romanticism in our life, if we know what we want, if we know who we are, if we're not dealing with needing to escape ourselves or the moment or be in a better place other than where we are, Neptune can be a perennially beautiful influence in our life because we have the kind of discernment that can have us making choices that even on the worst days when we have combinations of Neptune to inner planets, we can use that energy of diffusion to the best of our advantage. It doesn't have to be something us acting as our own worst enemy because we are not totally unified and present. We haven't achieved inner marriage within ourselves. We're trying to partner with a perfect other outside of ourselves. That's where you are going wrong. We can see that as Mercury goes through the day and makes a trine to Saturn. We can see where have we tried to make connections outside of ourselves that put us in a position where we are not achieving the kind of stability, safety, security, unification that we're looking for because we're putting that in somebody else's hands. So we could take that responsibility back as the day goes on and we realize, oh, we've gone wrong. Because this quadrates put us in a position where we take a course of action, and then it's not until we've gotten pretty far along it that we realize how we haven't included important factors like the moving parts, what is currently happening while you are pursuing something. And we look past it and say, no, that's not a part of the origination of this, and so I'm going to block that out. And then we get close to the finish line, and we're like, but I'm failing because I didn't include everything. And these things that we needed to include were happening while we were in pursuit of something. They were happening while we were after something, while we were already in motion. So we can take responsibility or be more clear about what we actually neglected, what we looked past, what we carpet swept, what facts we didn't want to include because they weren't part of our original plan. We willfully blocked that out because it wasn't a part of what we already decided we wanted. So there's a groundedness that does come into play as the day goes on. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of this groundedness. Take advantage of the ways that we see through our own misperceptions. Because this is a time to redirect and sometimes to have some conversations with people and say things like, you know what? I know that this is how things have been going, or I know that this is what you've come to expect from me, or I know that this has been the pattern of how things have been unfolding, but I need to include some other things, or I may need to back up, or I've seen some things emerging in myself that I need to acknowledge. Because as this job is unfolding, as this relationship is unfolding, as the pursuit of this particular course of education is unfolding, I've come to see that there's some things here that are not working. I've come to see that I've had some patterns of behavior that are emerging, and I need to take a step back so that I can examine this, so that if I do proceed forward, I'm doing so in a clearer fashion that includes more self-unification. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back from a course of action once you see that it's not unfolding in the way that is in accordance to your highest good. So today we can have a redirect that is very, very healthy and easier than on most days.